Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestaya Te.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestaya Te.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayana,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayana,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayana, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayana,
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Gaurabhakta Vrinda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Gaurabhakta Vrinda.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gauranga,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gauranga,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga,
Jaya Jaya Shri Prabhupada,
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Bol Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Shri Prabhupada,
Bol Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa,
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, sa namin ay Ora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestaya Te
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namaste, Ora Karuna Sarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestaya Te.
Herbal Namaste. So, your situation, all of you here, your student disciples of the spiritual master coming from Parampara. Student disciple meaning you're learning, understanding, and trying hard to apply the process. So the main program we used to engage in every day is centered around the purificatory process wherein we can experience purification of the heart and the mind. We experience satiation of the heart, fulfillment of the heart, and the mind becomes pacified. So, after hearing from our spiritual master, this transcendental science, it has cleared us from this ignorance of false bodily identification and identifying with the gross and subtle. The gross and subtle, meaning the mind, the intelligence, and the false ego. Okay? So, ang gusto kong sabihin sa inyo, you are now in a situation, sa situation nyo ngayon, wherein you are engaged in the practice to be your all student disciple. Okay? Because you yourself you put your life, sa buhay nyo ba, your time, to commit yourself to listen and understand. And when you make progress, you come to the point of just surrendering your life to Krishna. Okay? So, you must have patience. One qualification to be making progress in spiritual life is patient. Dapat may pasensya kayo. Okay? Since the relationship with Lord Krishna is eternal, and the relationship with our spiritual master is also eternal, ang gagawin lang natin, what we should do is be patient, okay? To follow instruction. So, kaya ko gustong sabihin to sa inyo lahat ngayon, para magkaroon tayo ng secured foundation. Very secure foundation sa buhay natin. So, kung titignan natin, when Lord Chaitanya approaches Varapuri and ginawa niya, he simply, obediently, faithfully followed the instruction of Ishvarapuri, spiritual master. He succeeded. Okay? So, ganon, makikita natin, through their life's example, they succeeded. Okay? Because Lord Krishna is praying as the role of an ordinary person, Lord Chaitanya, to teach us how to follow the instruction of the spiritual master. And how to follow the instruction of the spiritual master is we must become obedient. Because if we are not obedient and faithfully follow the process, we will be influenced by the mode of passion. And what will happen is that we will not really make a very progressive, meaning will not be making a progress towards really achieving what Lord Chaitanya achieved when he followed the instruction of the spiritual master. Okay? So yun ang problem natin. So sa student, number one talaga, we must discipline the mind. Okay? So naintindihan na nyo na yung thinking, feeling, and willing are activities of the mind. Okay? Now you identify with the mind, what will happen kung ang mind natin is influenced by the mode of passion or different modes, yung thinking natin will be the focus of what that influence is all about. Okay? For example, passion. You want to enjoy the senses. So the influence, yung focus mo is enjoying the senses because of the influence of passion. Okay? Pag na-influence ka naman ng yung mind mo ng thinking, feeling, and you identify with that, the mind, what will happen, if you're under the influence of ignorance, you'll just be sleeping. Okay? So makikita nyo, everything becomes clear. So as disciples, students of Srila Prabhupada, or our Lord Krishna, don't think na to be progressing towards serving and loving Krishna, you must be going to the place of the spiritual master or trying to pursue or be with those who are saying they're confidential friend of Krishna and they're engaging in confidential projects, but it's secret and you're not allowed to know it. That's all, that's not what we are trying to discuss here, okay? So, what is, individuals, they think, it's confidential, it's important, okay? But what is important is the mission of our spiritual master, the mission of Lord Chaitanya, okay? So, on the absolute platform, what is very important is the success of the living entity whom our spiritual master, who Lord Krishna wanted to bring back home to the kingdom of God. So, all the spirit soul who are here are important, okay? So, when you say confidential and then you just try to keep it by yourself, and what are you trying to do, So, he can be, be following you because you're a confidential of something whatsoever, that should not be the goal, okay? And if it's confidential, why tell that to that person, okay? And it's a secret, you don't need to, it should be, keep it to yourself, okay? So, the process is not like that. So, back to the point, the thinking, the feeling, and the willing, we must be able to purify the mind. That's why if we are faithful, simply by following the process of hearing and chanting, because the main teaching of our Gurudev is simply to chant the holy names, okay? To hear the holy names, okay? Not this confidential secret, okay? And try to chew or kiss us, just to get it, okay? Something that you don't, the unknown in your mind, okay? Okay, the secret, the mystery. Forget about that. Just waste your time, okay? Let all those individuals who think they're confidential and they know what is mysterious and they want to keep it secret, okay? They can just stay in the oblivion and be secret with what they think is secret and mystery. Okay? So we must be focused upon the teachings of our spiritual master. Okay? So, the reason the process is centered around drawing the mind away from matter because it will help us become free from false ego. Okay? Ano yung false ego? Dominion. Servant of the mind. Servant of the senses, but being forced and thinking you're Lord. You have your own world, okay? You're a devotee, okay? So, when Lord Chaitanya approaches Bharapuri, he simply followed the instruction. So, if we are humble and we chant the holy names, that is the secret for success. It's an open secret because it's Harinama, Haribol, Haribol. So when Lord Chaitanya came, during the time when, because he's so attractive, a beautiful child, everybody wants to see Nitai Gaur Hari, okay? Everybody wanted to see him, okay? And when they come to see him, some of them pinch him, so he cry. And when he cry, he won't stop, okay? And what or the only way he will stop crying, and we say, Haribol, 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 then he stops crying, okay? So meaning, it's already established, okay? His mission is already established, the chanting of the holy names. So it's not secret and confidential, okay? What will be blinding us, what will be putting us in, in not seeing the truth, is when we don't follow the instruction of the spiritual master. Okay? Because the prime benediction for humanity at large, for all of us, starts with the instruction of Lord Krishna. Approach a bona fide spiritual master, surrender to him, and render loving service. So that's what Lord Chaitanya did. That's what all the saintly person did, okay? Is it clear sa inyo? So as a student disciple, meaning you can succeed. All of us can succeed. We can know and love Krishna under the guidance of someone who is a pure loving servant of Krishna. Okay? Not someone who is a sentimentalist, not whose mind is contaminated with materialism, lordship, okay? With a name, okay? Dasidas, okay? And begin to tell you how you can be humble, okay? So he can lambast you with her tirades. Alam yung tirades? And experience the aggravation, okay? Of the words that comes from that person's mouth, that makes you bitter and hard, okay? And does not purify your mind. So be very careful, okay? That's why we are advised, all of us were taught the protocol or how to deal with the material world, the living entities, the devotees of God. It must be based upon respect, okay? So you have the freedom not to accept anyone, not to follow anyone. And if you misuse that freedom, okay, and you follow the dictates of the mind and Maya, then you will have a hard time in fulfilling the wish of Lord Krishna, the desire of Lord Krishna, to serve and love Him. Understand? So disciple comes from the words discipline. So you're all students, okay? So you should be very grateful and thankful to Lord Krishna that when you're given the opportunity to come in contact with this representative, okay, we must be open-hearted, okay, to receive, okay, to be thankful, okay? Ano yung consciousness ng person na who is not really connected with the transcendental world? Although you're chanting, you're engaging in supposedly devotional practice, but you're still a fruitive worker, okay? You engage in service, but you want to taste the fruits, okay? You don't know what you're looking for, that the holy names is what you're looking for, Krishna, okay? But it must not be misconstrued that the chanting, what we're doing, is not the end itself, okay? There's something else, okay? Kaya in the beginning, we must really understand our true transcendental nature, who we really are. At we should be able to distinguish between who we are, this material body made out of material elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. So, we discussed yesterday. What did we discuss yesterday? It is when you engage in the chanting of the holy names, you're given instruction by Lord Krishna to fulfill the desire of your spiritual master. But instead of following devotedly the instruction that will help us achieve success, we are still engaged in this we are engaged in activities that is centered around our own will, ourself. Okay? So, surrender to Krishna is giving up everything temporary in your possession. Your mind, your intelligence, your body, yourself. Okay? So, why? Why? Yesterday, we discussed na if we engage in the practice of devotional service, if it's really pure, then there is a comparison of what is transcendental to what we're discussing. Like, for example, when Lord Krishna left Vrindavan, okay? When he left Vrindavan, the meditation of all the devotees is not about them, it's about the pleasure of Lord Krishna. How they can serve Lord Krishna. No? Yung nangyari sa kanila when Lord Krishna left, they're always remembering Lord Krishna and they're always thinking of Lord Krishna every moment of their life. Okay? Every moment of their life. Because the Supreme Person is transcendental to this material energy. He's the owner of everything. He's spiritual. Okay? Kaya they're not touched by the miseries of this world. Okay? But if we, as student disciple or disciple initiated, given instruction, we try to play Lord and try to build castles of sand while it's low tide, then the high tide comes, it's taken away. Okay? So the experience of someone who's contaminated with material desire is that when her world crumbles, she feels the pain, okay? She feels the pain, okay? The pain of suffering, okay? From being cut off from what she thinks is a source of her happiness, okay? Still contaminated, okay? So doon natin makita. So that's why it's very important where we should put our heart and our mind. Okay? So as disciple, what should we do? Follow the footsteps of the saintly person. Wherein their life, their heart, is centered around Lord Krishna. Okay? So we can enter that world wherein our mind, the thinking, the feeling, and the willing, it's not about this false ego, this body and domination. Because Maya is very subtle, okay? You think you're not controlled by Maya, okay? You're not influenced by Maya, but the desire, material desire that is still there is not yet eradicated, okay? It's not yet, we have not yet transcended material desires. We're not liberated. We have the desire to play Lord, okay? Now in the name, we have this, in the name of the devotee game, okay? I'm a devotee, I see Krishna, okay? But when time comes, the foundation ng buhay mo, yung control mo, lahat ng hawak mo nawawala, dahan-dahan. Okay, diretso, mamamatay yung asawa mo. Anak mo, hindi na nagcha-chant, okay? At ano-ano na piglaw, naging addict, okay? So, you're now devastated. But your devastation is centered around what is being taken away from you. Your control, your meditation. And that is the cause of your suffering. Naintindihan nyo? But look at the devotees, okay? Look at the devotees. Mrigari, he's in control of his bow, his livelihood, no? His lifestyle is simply hunting, okay? For economic development. And Lord Narada Muni tells him, break your bow, throw your arrows, and just chant the holy names. Okay? So he chanted the holy names. He's faithful to the instruction of his spiritual master. And because the spiritual master is always thinking of his disciple, so Narada Muni came back with Kashyapa Muni, okay? And then he asked, how are you? That was the discussion yesterday. How are you? What is your state now? He's asking about his well-being. And Mrigari said, I'm good, you know. There's so much there's so much food, on the economic side. It's been taken care of, okay? And then, his attitude. Yung attitude niya, before he's hard-hearted, okay? He does not care for the suffering he inflicts upon others, okay? Now, when he saw Narada Muni, there he ran to bow down, okay? Because he's so happy seeing his spiritual master. And then he saw the ants. Ginawa niya, inan muna niya yung ants bago siya nag-bow down. So yun ang transformation. He now has this kind heart. Prior to meeting Narada Muni, his heart is so hard and cruel, cold-hearted, okay? But now, he has a gentle heart. Okay? So the living entity by nature, we are all gentle. But because of lordship mentality, we become hard. Okay? So the process of the Maha Mantra purifies the mind to draw the mind away from matter. It purifies us from this false ego, false lordship, because we will see with clarity how we can relate in loving surrender to the Supreme Person. And it becomes our life. It becomes our meditation. The thinking, the feeling, and the willing, it's all about doing the will of God. Okay? To be in harmony with His will, His desire. Is it clear sa inyo? So meaning, lahat kayo nandito, if you make the decision to follow faithfully the instruction of Srila Prabhupada to chant the holy names and be humble. Humble means sincerely putting your life in the hands of the holy names. Krsna, okay? Then, while living in this body, while you're in this body, okay, you experience connection with the source of joy. And when you leave this world, that all the load that you have in false lordship, you don't carry that anymore. Because your mind has become free from lust. And what is lust all about? Lordship. Trying to find happiness in this material world by your own, all alone, to be alone, to experience the pain all alone. Okay? You're so alone that when the pain comes, that your security, where your love is taken away, you're feeling alone. Okay? And what happens? You want to feel relief. Okay? To have this relief of the pain, okay? So that's what comes out of your mouth. How you see Krsna, now you're seeing the spiritual master, you see Krsna. But you ask this question, were you able to experience this loving surrender? Or experience giving up everything just to do the will of God? That you have unloaded everything, okay? Meaning, you're broken already, okay? You're feeling lower than the straw in the street. And Krsna takes care of you. No more load. So when you leave this body, while in this body, no more load. You experience the experience of the desire in the mind, the experience of the pain, and the burden that you are in this body. But because you're living a life of someone who is serving Lord Krsna by following the instruction of the spiritual master, then when time comes, it's not heavy burden anymore. Because you experience the joy of being with Krsna, with the Supreme Person. Because at the time you follow the instruction of the spiritual master, you're always connected with Lord Krsna. He thinks of you. He cares for you, okay? That's why when as we have discussed, when Lord Krsna left Vrindavan, he never left Vrindavan. And Lord Krsna is always thinking of them. And it states in Bhagavad Gita, Krsna revealing his heart to us, okay? That he's always thinking of his devotee. So if we follow the instruction that he's giving us and make our lives, whatever we do, in connection with our practice in surrender to do the will of our spiritual master, then we are never separated from Lord Krsna. All the load will be unburdened. You'll never carry that load. because you know you're passing by, and because your interest, the thinking and the feeling is centered around the hearing and the chanting of the holy names. You're transcendental to this material world. That is Bhakti Yoga. Okay? Loving Krishna. Okay? But we must be following the desire of Lord Krishna. So now, ang question, for so long we've been conditioned, ang buhay natin, we follow the desire. Okay? We think we identify with the mind. Okay? Yun ang problem. So when we chant the holy names, the first effect is that we become free from this material contamination. We can draw the mind away from matter. And how to draw the mind away from matter? Okay? Because the mind now interest in thinking is about your relationship with Krishna and your spiritual master. You know? The feeling is about your heart, you, the person. Okay? Connecting your love, your service to Krishna. Okay? The willingness. So you engage the body, everything in serving Krishna. Okay? That is what is transcendental. So the effect will be different from someone who's playing Lord. Because at the time, everything is taken away from you, you're devastated. Alam mo devastated? Para kang dinaan ng bagyo. Okay? Hindi mo alam ba't nangyari. Why me? Okay? Why me? Okay? You'll not be able to taste the sweetness of love for God. But you'll just experience God, my God. Okay? What happened? Okay? Then, you will not be experiencing that at the time you follow the instruction of our spiritual master, you come to the point there's nothing more to be gained. There's nothing more to be gained. Okay? You're complete because you're connected with the source of all sources, the self-sufficient philosopher, the Lord of Love, Krishna. Okay? So your heart, your love is connected in thinking, feeling, and willingness. Kaya here, you're in practice. But the more you engage in the practice, it becomes perfect. It becomes your life. It becomes your character now. A transcendental relationship that has been cut off because of our conditioning in this material world. Na-condition ba tayo? Okay? So to be purified, the holy names will purify us. Is it clear? So I'll read these teachings of Lord Chaitanya wherein we can be guided, okay? Not from someone who is griping. Alam mo griping? Who's morose, who is in melancholy, whose mind is devastated, you know? Who is in quandary, okay? Wow, what happened? And thinking, I'm a devotee. I see Krishna. I see the spiritual master. Okay? Now I'm advanced. That's not what spiritual life is. Okay? Don't be pulled by the mind. That's why the first process is the purification of the mind, to draw the mind away from matter. Activities of the mind, thinking. Okay? Feeling, willing. And you identify with it, and if it's contaminated with the false ego, lordship, okay? It's not yet pure, then you'll experience the load, the burden. It's like, you know, what I'm saying, your teeth is being pulled by the dentist with no anesthesia, okay? Or you're in surgery and there's no anesthesia, okay? And you want relief, okay? So you blabber, I saw Krishna, you know, I'm now advanced, I see the spiritual master. But that is not the goal, okay? You can see Krishna, okay? The question is, do you have affection? Are you surrendered? You know? Are you tasting loving service? Okay? You can see Krishna. Krishna's everywhere. Okay? Krishna's there in the deity. Krishna, this material world belongs to Krishna. You can see Krishna with the eye of intelligence. But the question is, where is our heart? Okay? So the most precious that is inseparable from us, the joy of love, should be in harmony with thinking and feeling and willing to do the will of God. Okay? And that mission of Lord Chaitanya to connect us is the mission of our spiritual master. Okay? To be reinstated again in the world of pure loving service. Okay? So we go back to the kingdom of God in devotional service while in this body and when we are out of this body. Okay? Is it clear sa inyo? So I'll read again this. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord unconditionally. My worshipable Lord unconditionally. So yun yung when Lord Krishna left Vrindavan, lahat doon si Krishna ang inisip nila. Okay? Tayo, iba. Okay? We have our own world, and that world is about our dominion. Okay? Kaya, if it's our surrender is contaminated, we experience the burden. Okay? The burden of that contamination is about the load when you're cut off, Kaya you gripe, gripe? You cry tears of anger. Okay? Are you crying tears of love or tears of anger? Okay? Because you cannot do what you want. You're not in control. And the word that comes out of your mouth is contaminated with this gripe and anger, in a truest sense, just thinking, why me? Okay? Why me? I am a devotee. Okay? Why me? Why not you? Okay? Tindihan niyo? And one thing also, I want to tell you, don't try to engage here in practice. Okay? What you should do is focus upon the instruction of the spiritual master. Okay? Gawin lang yung dapat nyong gawin in devotional service. Huwag na kayo mag-isip ng gawa kayo ng mga ek-ekan yan para mapansin kayo, okay? Di ba? Tindihan nyo? You're not the center. So wag kayong gagawa ng move na maging, yun ang mahirap eh. You try to portray something so you'll be noticed. Tindihan nyo? You to be noticed. So that's Maya. Okay? You don't need to do that. Okay? And isa pa, when you are given the opportunity to serve, you should be thankful. Okay? You should be thankful to Lord Krishna. Okay? A relationship of gratefulness. Okay? It's not, ang nangyari kasi, akala nyo pag nagsiserve tayo, pasalamatan ka ni Krishna. Thank you for serving me. Okay? Thank you. Okay? So when you offer to Krishna, you're expecting, thank you. Okay? Service should be the end itself. Just like the residents of Vrindavan. That's their life. Okay? So that is what will free us from this, encumbrances, this material world. Purity of service. Service as the end itself. To please Krishna by guidance of the saintly person, our Gurudev. Okay? He is teacher by example. Okay? It's described that to cross this ocean, one must take shelter of the confidential loving servant of Krishna. And this ocean becomes like a water in a hoofprint of a cow ba? Alam niyo yung baka, pag tumapak umuulan, ang liit lang. Yung ocean, di man nyo kayang languyin. Okay? By your own power, By your own power, I'm so great. I'm a devotee now, I can see Krishna. Okay, good luck. Is it clear? Hardball naman siya.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prastayate.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahaya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahaya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya.
Bhaji Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Jiva Sadya Gopata Vrinda.
Radha Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Jiva Sadya Gopata Vrinda.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama,
Hari Bol Krishna,
Madana Mohana,
Hari
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda
Idol Krsna.
Paramahamsa
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestaya Te
Namo Siddhaswarupananda